Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Host Eddie Frederick.
Welcome to Caribbean Perspective. So glad you can join us. The story that takes the lead in today's edition for Friday, 12th January 2024, and brought to you in association with our friends at Antillean Group is the addition of an inter-island ferry service will help with the movement of food and improve regional food security. Details after this important message.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all, perils big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so clear to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillean Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
Welcome back. According to Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Dr. Keith Rowley, the region has taken a concrete step towards improving its food security. TTT's Terrian Brown Campbell has that story.
Only recently, you would have heard of the closing of discussions and the readiness to establish a regional cargo ferry service between Guyana, Trinidad and Tobago, and Barbados. This is a decision which is driven by the need to move raw materials and fresh produce from the producing areas to the consumption and manufacturing areas within this subzone of CARICOM.
Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley says the new intra-regional ferry service will provide more than food.
The outcome of such a transportation service can only improve our food security, stimulate production across the region, create jobs and support affordable prices of the many agricultural products which we desire at our tables and in our hotel.
The Prime Minister adds, while the three nations have agreed to the project, there still needs to be agreement at the local level.
Tomorrow, Thursday, the Cabinet will sign off on this decision. And only this morning, the Minister of Transportation was instructed to ready the galleon passage for the inaugural trip as soon as that documentation is ready and the vessel is ready.
Dr. Rowley made his comments during the ceremony to open the country's latest industrial estate at Phoenix Park on Wednesday. Terrian Brown Campbell, TVT News.
In the meantime, new legislation, more jobs, and greater direct investment. According to Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley and Trade and Industry Minister Paula Gopi-Skoon, these benefits and more will come out of the new Phoenix Park Industrial Estate. Terrian Brown Campbell again reports.
Minister of Trade and Industry Paula Gopi-Skoon says Trinidad and Tobago's newest industrial estate at Phoenix Park is poised to become a hub of economic activity.
Close to implementation is the Special Economic Zones Authority and regime, legislation for which has already been proclaimed and SEC regulations already developed. The Special Economic Zones will offer an enhanced suite of incentives to stimulate domestic and foreign investment.
China's ambassador to Trinidad and Tobago, Fang Chiu, says the two nations will celebrate 50 years of cooperation this year.
I have no doubt that the commissioning of the TPIE will attract growing interest from Chinese businesses, which will provide a stronger momentum for the China, Trinidad and Tobago Investment Corporation.
Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley reiterates Mr. Fang's sentiment.
As part of the commitment by Beijing Construction Engineering Group to design and construct the park, there is an agreement to bring at least 10 investors to help drive the productive capacity of the park and raise its international profile. This will not only create new jobs, but new foreign direct investment, which will bring with it new ideas, new business models, and new products and services.
Dr. Rowley notes the estate's first tenant, Summit Luggage, is producing Samsonite luggage branded made in Trinidad and Tobago.
The manufacturing of new products such as these will satisfy new export markets and drive the demand for new skills, serving as a catalyst for added value and growth.
The Prime Minister cut the ribbon for the ceremonial opening of the industrial park and unveiled a plaque commemorating the date on Wednesday in California, Cuba. Terry Ann Brown Campbell, TTT News.
The Cooperative Credit Union League of Trinidad and Tobago is concerned about the crime rate as 2 members recently fell victim to crime. And a director from the Royal Bank of Trinidad and Tobago has resigned. Gisha Kaulaza-Orlanzo gives us the details in this edition of CNC3 Business Watch.
Chief Operating Officer of the Cooperative Credit Union League of TNT, Dan Joseph, says the current crime situation continues to be very worrying. In fact, she says 1 member was recently killed.
We represent 700,000 members and are feeling the pain of those who have been victims of crime. In fact, 1 member was murdered the 2nd day of the year. On Monday, 1 was a victim of robbery. All items such as vehicle keys, cash, debit and credit cards taken.
Ms. Joseph is therefore warning that not only credit union members ought to exercise extreme caution when it comes to their safety, but she says all citizens must also do the same. Speaking to Business Watch earlier today, Ms. Joseph also shares some advice.
Trust no one and move around with very little cash. Financial institutions may also want to consider the urgency of putting a hold on cards when a report is received to protect the interests of our members.
Ms. Joseph is also calling for more police patrols, especially with the carnival season,
so that our members may not only feel secured, but are truly, in fact, secure. After all, we are law-abiding citizens and we need to be protected.
In other business news, Ms. Suzanne Sipasad has tendered her resignation from the Board of Directors of the Royal Bank of TNT with effect from January 8, 2024. In a notice posted in the newspaper today, it states this was in accordance with Section 64 of the Securities Act 2012. The notice did not indicate who will replace Ms. Sipasad. It also did not say why she resigned. Geisha Kaulaza-Orlanzo, CNC3 Business Watch.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick.
In association with our friends at
Antillean Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
In related news, this time pertaining to Jamaica, that country's GDP forecast moves up to 2% for 2024. Javon Keys of TVJ Business Day reports.
The World Bank projects the global economy will see slower growth for 2024. In its latest Global Economic Prospects report, the bank says the value of global output will increase by 2.4%. If achieved, the 2.4% increase in gross domestic product GDP would be lower than the 2.6% growth estimated for 2023. It would also represent the 3rd successive year of slower growth and the slowest half-decade of GDP growth in 30 years. Looking at Jamaica, the World Bank is projecting GDP growth of 2% for this year. This reflects an upward adjustment compared to the projection of total output increasing by 1.7% at the last report made in June 2023. The report says developing economies are projected to grow by 3.9%. This is more than 1 percentage point below the average of the previous 10 years. The Global Prospect Report also shows the growth forecast for advanced and emerging economies remains steady for this year. The projection for larger states remained at 1.2% for 2024. For 2025, the expectation is for advanced economies to see lower growth in output at 1.6%. In June last year, economic Economic growth for larger economies in 2025 was forecast at 2.2%. Emerging markets are still set to grow at 4%. The bank says the possibility of a global recession has receded largely because of the strength of the U.S. economy. While the global economy is in a better place than it was last year, mounting geopolitical tensions could still create hazards for the global economy. Costs associated with healthcare services increased as of November last year. The Statistical Institute of Jamaica Statin says annual inflation was 4.4% for the category. Now, for the month of November alone, the Health Division's index increased by 0.2%. Statin says the increases were recorded for the group's medicines and health products. These products saw a 0.2% increase in general prices compared to October. Outpatient care services also moved up, with costs associated with the group increasing by 0.1%.
Jamaica's Prime Minister Andrew Holness says corporate Jamaica has a key role in making Jamaica peaceful. Herman Green of TVJ News provides details.
As Jamaicans continue to plan and hope for the new year, Prime Minister Andrew Holness has outlined a New Year theme for his administration.
For 2024 will be peace, productivity, prosperity.
Jamaica recorded 1,393 murders in 2023. That's 7.8% fewer homicides compared to 2022, but still troubling for a small country. According to the Prime Minister, the crime-fighting measures being implemented must be supported by other efforts, including from corporate Jamaica.
Our industrialists, our businessmen, our small business people have an important role to play in getting us to peace.
Mr. Holness was speaking at the announcement ceremony for the National Baking Company's new factory in Catherine Hall, St. James. He believes major investments, like National's $6.7 billion investment in Western Jamaica, will help.
So, how do we get to peace? A big part of it is what we're doing right here. A big part of it is making the investments that will pull the people in, who we will train to higher order skills so that they can get income, so that they don't have to be drawn into crime.
National Baker's chairman and CEO Gary Hendrickson says while the company will continue to invest, smaller entities must get more assistance to grow before they can be expected to invest.
We think it's the only way to grow the SMEs. We're going to have to get up and big brother them a little bit. I can't run the places for them. What we can do is help them with things like marketing and promotion. National will continue to support early childhood and continue to support STEM and the growth of STEM and the paths to STEM wherever possible.
Herman Green, TVJ News.
The ruling party in Barbados sought to assure the public that it is committed to the rollout of the Integrity in Public Life Act. Carice Gonzalez of HGB Nightly News out of Guyana has more.
The Barbados Labour Party, BLP, is assuring the Barbadian public that it remains committed to seeing the rollout of the Integrity in Public Life Act, but reminds that due process must occur and unfold first. Prime Minister Mottley has responded in light of the talks surrounding the cheque written to Government Minister by a company as a donation in the month of December 2023. To those wondering why there has been no commencement of the Act by proclamation as of Saturday, January 6, 2024, when the leader was addressing the nation, she said it is no overnight process and outlined why. Having expected challenges from those who were willing to serve in a small society, making the feat of setting up another commission, quote-unquote, no walk in the park, she said. Prime Minister Mottley stated the Act requires the establishment of a new commission. The establishment of any new entity after the passage of legislation takes considerable time, especially in small states where the same people are doing and are involved in multiple jobs and activities. According to the explanatory memorandum, the bill would establish a regime, including an integrity commission, to promote the integrity of persons in public life and strengthen measures for the prevention, detection, investigation, and prosecution of acts of corruption and provide for related matters.
I am Eddie Frederick, wishing you a restful weekend. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean.
In the meantime, please follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel for daily regional news and more, in association with our friends at Antillian Group.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all perils, big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so glad to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.